Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome with me on my way. Saturday, I got a side job, a gig, and this weekend here. So, just like I say, like I'm practicing what I preach. So, hustle to hodl. I don't believe in sitting in front of a computer telling people what to do and not even practicing what I say. I believe in practicing what I do, what I say. So that's even better. Because at the end of it all, I'm not just doing this for myself. It's not just for you guys out there, but it's for humanity. Because like hustle to hodl, like when I say that, it means so many things. It means like, because if you want to hold your satoshis for today, then you have to put in the work, sacrifice to hodl, because things are getting more and more expensive. Inflation is higher and higher because inflation is the money printing. So you have this violent world of hyperinflation all around you, and you're sitting there in front of your computer, right, talking shit, right, when you're supposed to put the proof of work in the real world. We call that mid space. Like I've done so many things online, and I never like so many time I spent online, except for learning about Bitcoin. I never have that much benefit. Like if you spend so many times on social media, right? You don't benefit much, right? Except a quick laugh, right? A bunch of stupid videos on YouTube and things like that. A bunch of nonsense, right? Content, like people talk like a bunch of garbage, right? Instead of doing that, except if you're learning about Bitcoin, yeah, go for it, but anything else, even if you're talking about Bitcoin, right? But you're gonna make sure you practice what you're doing and put in the work, because at the end of the day, nobody cares, right? At the end of the day, all that matters how many satoshis you have. So I'm on my way there. Just going to mine some fiat, and when I say mine fiat, it doesn't mean it's a negative thing. Most people think they have to have a Bitcoin job or something like that. It doesn't have to be. I think it's a net negative to think like that, because, well, there's not many Bitcoin companies that can give you like a job. Like so many people, they're not Bitcoiners, but they need your service. What, you're gonna wait and say discriminate? No, you have to be open to serve everybody, where they come from, whatever the currency they're using. What you do, you take that currency, you convert it into Bitcoin. You see, you migrating value from the DAO system to the Bitcoin system. And the more you do that, the stronger Bitcoin gets. You see, so you're gonna flip that on its head. You're gonna start thinking, hey, maybe I should provide value as much as I can to anybody in the world, and then convert those values, because if you're a Bitcoiner, the richer you get, the better it is for the Bitcoin network as a whole, right? Some people are slackers, right? They're just sitting there talking nonsense online, and they are not doing anything. They are not showing any proof of work in real life. Those people, they will get depleted of their Bitcoin, because Bitcoin doesn't work like that. Bitcoin is not fiat. If you wanna hold your position in Bitcoin, you need to keep hustling. That's why all those imbeciles asking the question of how many Bitcoin they need to retire, they have no idea what it is. They don't understand it. This is not a real estate business. You know how many houses you need to retire. This is not a like fiat money. You know, like it's not a rich get richer. If you wanna keep holding your Bitcoin, you need to work, because you know when you need a service, right? You need to pay that person your Bitcoin for that service. So you're losing now. But if you're working, you have another source of income to cover your expenses. So that means you're not spending your Bitcoin. You see? Instead, you could be, increasing your Bitcoin, or have a business on the side or something. But don't just sit there and be like, how many Bitcoin I need to retire? Like, what you talking about? Like, retirement is a scam anyway. Like, I used to think that, oh yeah, you need to retire like early and stuff like that. But I realized when I get in Bitcoin, I realized all the retirement, all those nonsense, they are just, like, they're just scams. Think about it, right? Why somebody in their 30s retired? Like, why somebody in their 40s retired? Right? It doesn't make sense. It's like how can you? It's like you put an end to your life. But I get it. A lot of people are miserable. They don't like what they do. A lot of people, like, you have like 40% of people in most places are in some sort of anti-depression medication, stuff like that. Like they don't like what they do. First of all, because the money is broken. It's all downstream to the money, to the base. That's why in Bitcoin you say, fix the money, fix the world. Because we're destroying ourselves as a human species. Like the food we eat, it's all toxic garbage. Everything, like, you go to the grocery store, like, it's very hard to find something that's natural, that's pure and natural. Like, when I go to the store, things I buy, like, I buy things that are, like, it's like, I buy things like squash, and I buy, like, things like cassava, things like that. Those are hard to, they could still use a bunch of toxics to produce them. They may be a little bit higher in prices, but they are better in quality. So that's why I buy those things. And also, most people don't buy these things, right? Things that are very popular, right? And producers have the need to offer, like, to mass produce them. So once you get to mass production, then you get to the point where you have mass intoxication, right? And with all sort of chemicals. So buying things that they don't mass produce, just like if you go in McDonald's, right? How many McDonald's stores are in the world? Like an infinite amount, right? I mean, close to infinity, like depending on your limit to the world. But when you look at all the stores, right, they have similar products, right? It's mass production of a certain, burgers and bread. So they can tweak a single ingredient, right, to fake it and make it a bit fatter, or so more appealing, just to lower prices, for you, and you think, hey, I'm getting a cheap burger. Well, the cheap burger will respond to your belly, and it will make your belly bigger. So this is a hard truth most people are not willing to listen to. But this is what it is. And if I'm a YouTube channel who want to have subscribers, I shouldn't talk about things like that, right? Maybe I should keep that personal and, like keep it to myself. But as I'm a Bitcoiner and I don't care, right? This is the freedom being a Bitcoiner, right? You're not subject to the YouTube, paywall, right? Fuck that, right? Because this is the thing. This is why most people are not real. This is why people are so fake, because they are always subject to the paywall of a company, right? Of a big tech. Think about it, right? Those companies, they need to enforce a certain rules, right? They need to push a certain narrative, and if you don't agree, if you disobey to that narrative, you get cut off, right? So you have to obey. So when I come up and say, hey, this is nonsense, right? And when a Bitcoiner came up and say, masking yourself, is putting diaper in your face. I mean, it is what it is. People may not like that, but you're still allowed to say it, right? And if they cut you off, they say they don't want to pay, who cares, right? So that's the thing, because you got the Bitcoin. Whoever got the Bitcoin, can say what he think, what he want to say, right? Because if you don't get the Bitcoin, you're just a slave, right? That's why I don't listen to anybody who's not a Bitcoiner, right? If you're not a Bitcoiner, that means you're just like a poor slacker and just, saying things to please YouTube or Twitter, right? Because you're not free. You're not a free woman. You're not a free man if you don't have money that you control. You need to have financial freedom to say what you want. Otherwise, you can't say what you want. You're still a slave, right? So this is the mindset. This is the mindset that you need to have as a person if you want to thrive in this world. And it's getting worse. And that's why you should hustle to hodl. Just like I say, hustle to hodl. You need to show the proof of work. And here's the thing though. A lot of people, when they get into Bitcoin, let's say they get all these ideas and all those things, right? For example, I have this guy I listen to, British Hodl. Okay, British Hodl, yeah, he's a good guy. But here's one thing though. He's saying he will put his Bitcoin, kind of give it to take loan against his Bitcoin. Here's the problem. Like, I like the guy. I like his ideas. I like a lot of things he say. And that's only one thing that I disagree with. Okay? And I'm allowed to disagree with somebody. Right? He's not God. Right? So I'm allowed to disagree because most Bitcoiners are not aligned in the same agreement anyway. So, like, we don't agree with each other anyway. So, what's the deal? What's the deal? So, anyway, I saw him talking about that, and I like, okay, that's stupid. You should never give your Bitcoin to somebody to give you fiat. That's a fiat mindset. It's like you put your house in stake for some fiat cheap money to fix that same house. It's like, how stupid that is, right? So what happened is this guy say, oh, he will be, when the market mature enough, he will be able to put his Bitcoin to uses EDF and take loan against it and all those shenanigans, financializations and all that. But what he's not realizing is like maybe in 5 years it will still work. In 10 years it will work. In 15 years it will just fall at once. It's like DeFi, right? DeFi. Nobody, people was thinking, oh yeah, it's still gonna be there. Right, 2019 they make that all boom. Right, everybody start believing, oh yeah, BlockFi, you know, like rocket ship and all those things, right? Celsius, right? It will never fall, right? But it was all the shenanigans. You can't fool Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is a transparent ledger, right? It's a source of truth. It's the ultimate source of truth, right? You will eventually lose because you can't create more of it. So if you try to take a loan against it, you think you're smart to buy more or do something stupid, buy a house or something like that, and then you're like, oh, I'm a smart guy. What do you think? What do you mean you're a smart guy? You just fuck yourself, right? So that's one other thing. It's like, never put your Bitcoin to work. Bitcoin puts you back to work. Okay? So you don't put your Bitcoin to work. Bitcoin puts you back to work. Okay? The more you have Bitcoin, the more you will want to work to protect your Bitcoin. So that's what you have to understand. It's not about a leverage game. Bitcoin is not a debt-based system. You try to build a debt on top of it, your dream will come true. So I'm gonna leave it there, guys. You know, like, the reason I like proof of work, I like work, is because it keeps the world honest. It keeps the world in peace. If you want to live in a peaceful world, then you have to embrace work and proof of work. Because the more collaboration, the more trade the world makes, the better. If you want to be peaceful with your neighbor, do work with your neighbor. Collaborate. Do things together. Do business. You will see. You will be always happy with your neighbor because you do business together, right? Right? You do something for you, you pay him. You do something for him, he pays you. So how can you be enemies if you're business partners? You can't. You see? So that's how you keep the world peaceful. And this is what Bitcoin does. It removes the need for war because there is no way to print it to fund the war. Anyways, this was PieCover. I'll see you again, guys, in the next talk. Thank you for listening.